So I want to tell you a story that I heard, but in order to give it justice, I'm going to tell it in the first person. So I was sitting in my living room surrounded by all of my stuff, all the furniture, the pictures, the bric-a-brac, all the stuff that I've accumulated in my life. And I was looking around at all of it, and I started to wonder, how did my life get to be this with all this stuff that doesn't really mean anything? And so as I was sitting there, in the distance, I saw a light, and it was coming closer to me, and it took the form of an older woman. And between you and me, I think that was a version of the future me, and I looked pretty good. I like the idea of that. So anyway, so she says to me, I'm the guide to the building of your mind. Would you like a tour? And I said, the building of my mind? Okay, I guess. So you're on the first floor. Would you like to see the second floor, she said? And I said, there's a second floor? There is, and there's an elevator over here. And I said, there's no elevator over here. And she said, oh yes, there's an elevator. Would you like to go up to the second floor? And so I said, sure, why not? So we walked over to the wall, and there was an elevator, and it opened, and she said, this is an elevator, and they call this a lift, and it's going to move you to the next level. Shall we go? So we got into the elevator and went up to the second floor, and the doors opened, and the second floor was a warehouse of all the ideas I've ever had in my life. The doll that when you pull the string, she talks. Remember Chatty Cathy? Or Baby Alive, the baby that moved? Those were ideas. They were my ideas. All of the choices that I had to ponder and to think about. Should I go to college, or do I go to work right after high school like my dad wanted me to do? All of the thoughts that I had about getting married and having a baby, babies, they were there. The ideas I had about the house that I would live in, they were there. And the beautiful villa that I want to live in when I go to live in Bali. It's all there. All of my ideas were in that warehouse on the second floor. And so I said, this is pretty freaking cool, but I don't quite get the connection. And she said, this is the storehouse of all the ideas you've ever had, and all you need to do is come to the second floor and focus on one of those ideas, and when you're ready, it will show up on the first floor. And I said, wait a minute. You mean if I come up here and I think about what I want, I can have it? She said, absolutely. That's how it works. And I said, wow, this is amazing. And this is going to change my life. And she said, would you like to see the third floor? And I said, wait a minute. There's a third floor? Are you kidding? I didn't even know there was a second floor. And she said, there's a third floor. Shall we go? So the doors to the elevator opened, and we walked inside, and she said, remember, this is a lift, and it's going to move you up to a new place. So the doors to the third floor opened, and it's completely empty. Empty. And I said, well, wait a minute. There's nothing here. And she said, oh, but there is. Everything is here. Everything exists here. All of those thoughts that you have yet to think, all of the things that are available to you are here right now. This is the floor of infinite potential. And she says, there's one thing that's very important that you need to know. Look up. And as I looked up, I realized that there was no ceiling. And she said to me, there's no ceiling here because inspiration and wisdom come from something greater than you are. So when you come to the third floor, move into that place of connection and listen, and you'll receive that inspiration. And you will be able to tap into that wisdom, and you'll know what it is that you're here to do and what it is that you're here to give. And as soon as you have that idea, it will show up on the second floor. And then if you focus on the idea, it will become form on the first floor. So I was amazed, and I said, you mean I can control exactly how my life is? She said, absolutely. And I'm going to have to go now. And I said, wait. I don't understand this. I didn't know there was a second and a third floor. How can it be that all these years I've only been living on the first floor? And she said, I can't help it that the real estate agent didn't tell you that this was here. But now that you know, you can certainly use it. And I would have thought you would have seen it from the street. And I said, I should have seen it from the street? And she said, well, that's a story for another time. And so she started to fade. And I said, wait, don't go. Tell me, what floor should I live on? And she said, live on all three. And so it is. Have an amazing Friday.